Hello, so I have recently been fortunate enough to get hold of a copy of Cannon Fodder for the Amiga, a really good price on eBay, and I think basically I got it at the price I got it because the box, as you can see, has suffered a bit of damage over its life. So if we look, we got this big old dink here. Apart from that, the box is fairly sound, but it needs a bit of repair, so that's what we're going to do in this video. So let me just take you around a bit of a guided tour of the box. So if I flip it over, you can see it's kind of been a bit crushed, so we need to sort this out. And also we've got a bit of a crush in here. You can see that moving away there, that crease, so we need to sort that, but this is the biggest one to rectify. So RMC Neil did some great videos on how to fix these up using a steam iron and some water, so that's what I'm going to be doing with this. But let's take a look inside. So let me just move that to one side, but yeah, you can see this is no longer square. It's kind of been jumped on by something, so we just need to sort out those sides and bring them up, get them nice and straight again, so that shouldn't be a problem. But there's no tears or anything, so that should be quite easy to repair. So I'll just show you the contents of this box. So once again, the box is in really good condition. A little bit of damp here, but that's damp stains, but it's not damp now. But once again, you see we've got a bit of a crease here, so we need to straighten that out. And there is a kind of you probably can't see it, but there's a bit of a, where the box has been crushed underneath. We need to straighten that out and flatten it. But once again, that's in really good nick, so I can't complain too much about that. So no overly dramatic repairs to be done. We just need to sort out the creases on the box. Really pleased with that. Got that for a good price on eBay. I was really happy with that. Right, so the first thing I usually do with these boxes when I get them is give them a bit of a clean up before I do anything else. So we're going to do that now. To clean up boxes like this whenever I get them, I mean, this one's in fairly good condition, but I like to give it a bit of a clean. It feels a little bit, yes, been touched by many hands over time. So bit of IPA on a cloth, and just give that a bit of a wipe off. Yeah, you can see that's a bit mucky. So actually, let's take that apart. Let's clean all this up properly. So that box now actually feels a little less greasy. The manual's in really good nick, but it also feels a little bit, yeah. So we'll just give that a bit of a wipe, and if you probably, I don't know if you can see, there's like some spores, some marks on there, maybe where it got damp over time and they've dried on there. So it hasn't damaged the paperwork, but it's in need of a bit of a clean. But do you know what? I've only just realised this, that you can actually see there's the drawing in there of a soldier. Do you know, I've never noticed that before on the Cannon Fodder box and manual. That's just crazy, isn't it? Look, it's there on the box as well. You can actually see there's his gun, there's his face. Never knew that. It's really clever. All the years I've looked at that box. Anyway, let's just get some more IPA on the cloth and just give this a bit of a gentle wipe. Got to be careful when doing the manuals because you don't want to accidentally snag the pages. Yeah, so we've taken some of the ink off there, but that's why you don't spray the IPA onto the page itself. Let's see how that's done. Yeah, we still got some spore marks on there. You run your finger over, you can feel them, but it feels cleaner. So let's just do the back. Yeah, once again, so it's obviously a different ink has been used on the manual, but we haven't damaged it. Yeah, we've still got those spores on there, but it feels more like paper and less like dry, old, dusty paper. So, right, so that's done. Quite pleased with that. Excellent. Right, so with the box clean and ready, the next job is to start ironing. Yes, I will be using this iron. Ooh, look, a cordless iron. How effective. Yes, so I'm going to use this. We're going to use some cloths as well. We'll do this on an ironing board, and I'll kind of take you through the process that I do. Once again, this is all pretty much the same as what RMC Neil did with you know, fixing the boxes in the cave and whatever. So I'm just doing the same process, and I've done it for a couple of other boxes as well. So some of you might remember from previous video when I reviewed this game on the Spectrum and the Amiga, this box was crushed as well, and it was actually in a very similar condition to this one, but I managed to kind of flatten this out and straighten it, and this process worked really well. So I'm confident, and this box was damaged. It had a ripped corner as well, which if I can find, yeah, I think it was this corner here was ripped, so I've repaired that, and the box had a big crush down here. But using the steam iron method, it kind of corrected that. So I'm hoping, using the same method on this box, we can get rid of all of this stuff. So it should be good. So without further ado, let's get everything set up, and I'll take you through the process. So here's the box ready now. So I've got the ironing board set up, and the first thing we're going to do is deal with this crease at the top of the box. As you can see, that's quite pronounced. So we'll take the bottom part of the box away, because what we want to do is work from the inside and try and push that out. So what I'm going to do here, I'm using a book that's a little bit deeper than the depth of the box, because what I want to do is use that book as something to push the box down onto while I iron. So that should actually push the dent back out. So this book I'm going to wrap up in a towel so it doesn't get damaged in this process, because I do look after my books. Anyway, here we are, book all wrapped up in a slightly thinner towel, but it's wrapped up nicely. I'm just going to test now, because we're going to deal with that first crease. Yep, so what I'm going to do is I'm using my hands here, dipping them in some water and spreading that water along that crease. So I'm just trying to gently soak the cardboard from this side. I could use a brush here, but using my fingers, it works just as well. Gives me a little bit more control over adding the water in, as it were. So once I've made that wet, I'm going to turn that over, push it down on that book. Then I'm going to get another cloth to go over the top, because I want to protect the box from the iron. I'm going to make this damp as well. I'm using a steam iron, so that's set on a cotton setting, quite hot, and I'm using the steam from the iron to push through that cloth and get onto the box. So let's take a look at that. So we should, now if I push that down, yep, you can see the dent has kind of gone out now. We've managed to push that out, so we'll use a bit more water, a bit more ironing, a bit more steam, and just gently push, gentle but firm force used here. So let's see what that looks like now. You can see that it's starting to come out. It's starting to come out. If you look on the back, yeah, we're starting to push that out, and the cardboard is damp here, and it will get wet. So, but that's okay. We're that will dry out. So a bit more water. Quite an unscientific method here. It's kind of trial and error. Here we go again. More steam. And excuse the camera shake, but I was pushing down here, and obviously the camera was rocking on the surface. But look at that. Yeah, it's coming out nicely. Look at that. That dent is, we've nearly got rid of it. Yep, yeah, the edge is pushed out a bit, but we'll sort that out in a minute. So just a bit more water. So we usually find that the larger indents on cardboard take a little bit longer to work through. This isn't because I just enjoy the smell of wet, hot cardboard, which is a smell you get used to if you do this quite a lot. Old, dusty, damp cardboard. I love the smell of wet cardboard in the morning. Right, yeah, we'll push that dent out when we deal with the edge. But for now, the face, that's not looking too bad. Not looking too bad at all. It's all good. Right. So now to deal with the underside of the box. I like to deal with the larger flat surfaces first, and we're going to deal with this crease down this edge here. So that's quite a bit of a dent, but it should come out quite easily. So we'll just apply the same process here. We should be able to get that out quite easily. Same process, we'll make it wet, we'll iron that flat, we'll push it down against the book that I've got there, and that will push the indentation out. So here we go. The unscientific method again. I'm just making this cardboard damp here. So we don't want to soak it completely because you'll wind up damaging it, but just enough to get the water to penetrate through the kind of first layer, as it were. So we'll push that up against the book, and then we'll get our cloth again and make that damp. Yep. And then we'll iron that again, but in the meantime, once again, now I don't actually own an atomizer. If someone's saying, why don't you just use an atomizer and spray it? I don't own one, so that's another reason why I'm using this method. So here we go. Make sure it's lined up over the book, so when we push down on the iron, the book is like a counter press. And here we go, pushing down, lots of steam out of the iron, as you can see. And this should start to make this flatter. And let's have a look at that. Push down, and you'll find the cardboard sometimes just springs back into shape, which is really, really handy. Lots more steam. Now that's pushed out, yep. So you usually find as the cardboard is warm and damp, you can just use your fingers to gently manipulate it back into shape. But look, that's starting to bring that crease out nicely. Yep, we got a bit of a dink there, which we'll deal with. Once again, a bit more water applied on the inside. And turn it over, line it up with the book, push it down, make the outer cloth damp again, although it is quite damp already. And we just carry on this process, really. It's, you know, the routine here is make the inside of the cardboard box wet, or quite severely damp at least, and then position the box over the book and make our outer cloth wet, push down with the iron and lots of steam applied from the iron, then remove the cloth and then push down on the box against the book, and that will start to push out any dents or dinks. And then just gentle manipulation with our fingers. And I do mean gentle, because if you've got the cardboard too wet and the box is damaged, you will wind up putting your fingers through the cardboard and make things worse. So we just got this little bit left here to do now, before we get on with the edges. So let's just roll through that process. Now, if we look at the front of the box again, where this had taken quite a blow, there is actually a small, very tiny perforation on the front of the box, and as we've pushed the dent out, it's kind of exposed a bit of a hole here. So we need to be really careful at this point. We don't want to be worrying this too much now, because I think this is about as good as this is going to get. So let's leave this be for now and get on with the edges. So as you can see, we've got some kink in here. There's a bit of a dent. And, you know, once again, to get this out, this will get a little bit fiddly now because we've got less surface area. But we'll do the same process. Once again, make the cardboard, you know, damp with our, just dripping water onto it with our fingers or rubbing water into it. And, you know, I do actually find by rubbing your fingers across the dent, you kind of get a feel for that dent. So you kind of then can appreciate how much pressure you need to put on it. So we'll tuck the cloth in here once again because we need to protect the cardboard from the direct contact with the iron. And then we'll grab the iron, and it's just the same process. Stick it in and give it a good old steaming and push down. Now I will say at this point, having a cordless iron is really useful because you can move it around a bit more without getting a cable in the way. And also when you've got your phone that's filming this sitting on a very small tripod next to the area that you're working in, having no cable coming out the back of the iron is really, really helpful. Anyway, once again, same process. So we've done that. So the cardboard will be warm and damp now, but we can now manipulate it with our fingers and kind of line it up. So you look at that edge is now coming in straight, which is fantastic. Really happy with that. Really happy indeed. So that was the underside of the box done, or the bottom part. Now we're going to turn our attention to the top part of the box, and obviously we've got this massive dent here, so that needs to push back in, and we've got these curved edges now. It's almost bowed out. Obviously there was pressure on the top and it pushed the box out, but thankfully it didn't split the corners. Now obviously this could be a bit dodgy because the cardboard might have stretched here, so we don't want to worry this too much, but we'll once again apply the same method. We'll make that cardboard, you know, wet inside there. We'll apply the cloth. We'll apply, you know, the iron again. We'll just carry on with this process. So this one's the biggest challenge on the edges. So I kind of want to take my time on this and make sure I get it right, because it's when you start to get confident with this method, it's very easy to get overconfident and make a complete dog's dinner of this. So once again, really careful getting the cloth up in there, and then getting ready to apply the iron. Here we go, more steam, full steam ahead, boom boom. I'm using my hand at the back to kind of give this support. When you're handling these boxes, you'll feel when if they're going to give or when they're going to fall over, or they just need a little bit more of a helping hand, as it were, or you just need to apply a bit more force. So let's see what that's done now. So yeah, now we need to use our fingers so we can start to push that back into shape. So it's almost like you're moulding it, but look at that, you know, we've pretty much got rid of that dent. That's not bad going actually, and yeah, I'm happy with that. Not bad at all. So with that edge done, we're just going to turn our attention now to these outer edges that are a bit bowed. You know, it's subtle bowing here, but we can sort this out. It's not going to take much. So once again, we'll just apply the same methods and see how this turns out. But I'm fairly confident in this. We've taken out some big dents already. These smaller ones aren't going to provide, or aren't going to prove to be too much of a problem. So we'll just get on with it. So with those edges done now, it's just a case of gently manipulating the sides back into shape, making sure they're not going to spring out as they dry. So, you know, this is just nip and tuck kind of procedure now. Just going over with your fingers, making sure things are flat and level and square and, you know, at 90 degrees, or as much as at 90 degrees as they can be. Just tidying it up. We're going to leave this to dry out overnight and square itself all up. But for now, just gently make sure that everything's all right. And this is looking pretty good. Don't forget where this damage is, you don't want to be teasing this too much. So take care on any areas like that. But overall, looking pretty good. So with all the edges done and lined up, this is the underside of the box, which I think is looking pretty good compared to what it was like. Here's the top part. So let's see if they go together now. Gently put them together. And look at that. Brilliant. A square box. Squarish. So we'll leave this to dry out overnight. So, you know, the following day this will be dry and good to go back on the shelf. But really pleased with this. It's come out as well as it could, all things considering. Really happy. Right, so it is the next day. So the next day after I did this box, I've let it dry overnight. I will admit I did sort of stand it upright and I put some weight on the top, just some gentle weight, just to help it dry into the shape that I wanted it. And here we are, look at it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. That has squared off beautifully. It's all looking good inside. Let me just open it up. But you know, there we go. I don't think you can complain too much about that. And here's the top of the box. Look at that, that's all square. So that dink in there we can't do anything about, and as I pointed out earlier, that is damage. That's taken some blunt force impact there, but we can't do much about that. But overall the box is good. So let's put everything back in there and complete this journey for this box. So there's the manual, there's the discs, and there's the lid back on. All good. One Cannon Fodder box. You know, we're not going to be able to do anything about this, the scratches and scuffs down the side, but that adds character to the box. So, you know, our mission was to get rid of the dents and dinks, and we've pretty much done that. So, got a nice Cannon Fodder box there. It's all good. I'm really happy with that. So, thanks ever so much for watching. In case anyone's wondering what happened to the book that I used to as a kind of support and press for that, here it is, and undamaged. So you need to make sure you wrap it well if you're using a book and you know, there's water involved and stuff, but that's okay. No damage done there. That'll go back on my bookshelf and be read again at some point, no doubt. So all in all, a success. Thanks for watching. I really hope you got something out of this. I'd like to say a big thank you to Neil RMC Retro for covering all of this initially. It's helped me out now. This will be about the third box that I've repaired. Everything's good. Thanks for watching. Love to you all. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel, like, etc. and ring the bell. All that stuff. Thanks a lot. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.